Namaskar, Jai Shri Krishna. Enunciating text 5, text 6, text 7, text 8 and text 9 of chapter 4, the appearance of Shri Narada of first canto creation of Srimad Bhagavatam. Text 5. Društavanu yanta mrushi matma jampya nagnam devayo riya parida dhuran sutasya chitram तद्वीक्ष्य पृच्छति मुनौ जगदु स्त वास्ति स्त्रीपुं भिदा न तु सुतस्य विविक्त दृष्टैः. While Shri Vyasadeva was following his son, beautiful young damsels who were bathing naked covered their bodies with cloth, although Shri Vyasadeva himself was not naked. But they had not done so when his son had passed. The sage inquired about this, and the young ladies replied that his son was purified and, when looking at them, made no distinction between male and female. But the sage made such distinctions. In the Bhagavad Gita 5.18, it is said that a learned sage looks equally on a learned and gentle Brahman, a Chanda dog eater, a dog or a cow due to his spiritual vision. Srila Shukdev Goswami attained that stage. Thus he did not see a male or female. He saw all living entities in different dress. The ladies who were bathing could understand the mind of a man simply by studying his demeanor, just as by looking at a child one can understand how innocent he is. Shukdev Goswami was a young boy, 16 years old, and therefore all the parts of his body were developed. He was naked also, and so were the ladies. But because Shukdev Goswami was transcendental to sex relations, he appeared very innocent. The ladies, by their special qualifications, could sense this at once, and therefore they were not very concerned about him. But when his father passed, the ladies quickly dressed. The ladies were exactly like his children or grandchildren, yet they reacted to the presence of Vyasadeva according to the social custom, because Srila Vyasadeva played the part of a householder. A householder has to distinguish between a male and female. Otherwise, he cannot be a householder. One should therefore attempt to know the distinction between body and soul without any attachment of male and female. As long as such distinction is there, one should not try to become a sannyasi like Shukdev Goswami. At least theoretically, one must be convinced that a living entity is neither male nor female. The outward dress is made of matter by material nature to attract the opposite sex and thus keep one entangled in material existence. A liberated soul is above this perverted distinction. He does not distinguish between one living being and another. For him, they are all one and the same spirit. The perfection of the spiritual vision is the liberated stage, and Srila Shukdev Goswami attained that stage. Srila Vyasadeva was also in the transcendental stage, but because he was in the householder's life, he did not pretend to be a liberated soul as a matter of custom. Text 6. Kathama lakshitah pauraih samapraptah kurujan galan una mattamukha Jadavada Vicharan Gajasaha Vaye. How was he, Srila Shukdev, the son of Vyas, recognized by the citizens when he entered the city of Hastinapur, now Delhi, after wandering in the provinces of Kuru and Jangala, appearing like a madman, dumb and retarded? The present city of Delhi was formerly known as Hastinapur because it was first established by King Hasti. Goswami Shukdev, after leaving his paternal home, was roaming like a madman, and therefore it was very difficult for the citizens to recognize him in his exalted position. A sage is not therefore recognized by sight but by hearing. One should approach a sadhu or great sage not to see but to hear him. If one is not prepared to hear the words of a sadhu, there is no profit. Shukdev Goswami was a sadhu who could spoke on the transcendental activities of the Lord. He did not satisfy the whims of ordinary citizens. He was recognized when he spoke on the subject of Bhagavatam, and he never attempted jugglery like a magician. Outwardly, he appeared to be a retarded, dumb madman, but he was, in fact, the most elevated transcendental personality. Text 7. Katham va pandaveyasya rajarshera muni na sah संवादः समभूततात् यत्रैषा सात्वती श्रुतिः. How did it so happen that King Parikshit met this great sage, making it possible for this great transcendental essence of the Vedas, Bhagavatam, to be sung to him? Srimad Bhagavatam is stated here as the essence of the Vedas. It is not an imaginary story as it is sometimes considered by unauthorized men. It is also called Shuka Samhita, or the Vedic hymn spoken by Shri Shukdev Goswami, a great liberated sage. Text 8. Sa Godohan Matram Hi Gruheshu Gruha Medhinam Avekshate Mahabhaga Stirthi Kurvam Stada Shramam. He, Shukdev Goswami, was accustomed to stay at the door of a householder only long enough for a cow to be milked, and he did this just to sanctify the residence. Shukdev Goswami met Emperor Parikshit and explained the text of Srimad Bhagavatam. He was not accustomed to stay at any householder's residence for more than half an hour at the time of milking the cow, and he would just take alms from the fortunate householder. That was to sanctify the residence by his auspicious presence. Therefore, Shukdev Goswami is an ideal preacher established in the transcendental position. From his activities, those who are in the renounced order of life and dedicated to the mission of preaching the message of Godhead should learn that they have no business with householders save and except to enlighten them in transcendental knowledge. Such asking for alms from the householder should be for the purpose of sanctifying his home. One who is in the renounced order of life should not be allured by the glamour of the householder's worldly possessions and thus become subservient to worldly men. For one who is in the renounced order of life, this is much more dangerous than drinking poison and committing suicide. Text 9. Abhimanyu Sutam Suta Prahur Bhagava Tottamama Tasya Janma Mahashacharyam Karmani Cha Grunihi Nah. It is said that Maharaj Parikshit is a great first-class devotee of the Lord and that his birth and activities are all transcendental. Please tell us about him. The birth of Maharaj Parikshit is wonderful because in the womb of his mother, he was protected by the personality of Godhead Shri Krishna. His activities are also wonderful because he chastised Kali, who was attempting to kill a cow. To kill cows means to end human civilization. He wanted to protect the cow from being killed by the great representative of sin. His death is also wonderful because he got previous notice of his death, which is wonderful for any mortal being, and thus he prepared himself for passing away by sitting down on the bank of the Ganges and hearing the transcendental activities of the Lord. During all the days, he heard Bhagavatam. He did not take food or drink, nor did he sleep a moment. So everything about him is transcendental and wonderful, and his activities are worth hearing attentively. Desire is expressed herein to hear about him in detail.